So thank you so much for joining us today in Marketing Think Tank podcast. So before we deep dive into the marketing strategies and what goes in real estate marketing, let's talk about your journey. Why you chose marketing as your forte and how the journey has been so far for you. Let's start with you, Viral.
Why marketing? It's been too long to remember, but I think I always felt that, while as a business, every function plays a role to make sure that the product is ready, the service is ready, and meets consumer needs. I equated it with a sport, like let's say diving, for example, where the training, the all the work that goes into it happens, but ultimately it's about when you're standing at the edge of the board and when you launch, how you perform and what score you get. And I've equated marketing as that front end of the spear. So to me, that's what really made it interesting. In terms of the journey, well, yeah, after more than 20 plus years of working at multinationals across FMCG, various categories, telecom, for me, it was about trying to see how well I've learned what I think I know by trying to do it in a completely new industry where marketing was just coming up, when the industry was just getting regularized, consumers were evolving, brands were just starting to get established. And I think that was the challenge and that was the draw for me. So that's how it started. So from one end of the spectrum with telecom and technology, I decided the other end of the spectrum was time to go to the other end of the spectrum and brick and mortar world, which is not so brick and mortar now, but yeah, was there.
What about you?
So my journey actually started, I was fascinated by the ads and everything from my childhood. But when I went to IIM, so IIM Bangalore, I never, imagined that I would end up in marketing, but then I was always interested in finance. So, but apparently it happened that when new case studies and all of that were presented, I could understand one very simple thing, that you cannot teach marketing in a classroom. It is a very dynamic thing, and it has got its own set of challenges. You actually don't know what will work, what will not, until you have burnt your hands. So I think that was the trigger point when I said that, okay, this is a very, unique kind of a field where whatever we are learning, it is theoretical learning doesn't apply over there. And that's when I think I chose marketing during my second year in MBA, and that's how my journey started. And from there on, I have been in this field and I'm enjoying it thoroughly, because whatever I thought, it's exactly the same over here. You cannot teach marketing in a classroom.
So that's why we are here, to understand more about marketing from the real experts, which are you guys. So my first question is, with the rapid changes happening in real estate marketing, what are the traditional strategies which you believe have gone obsolete? And according to you, how do you adapt to certain changes to make yourself ahead of the competitors?
So, honestly, I'm not sure if anything in marketing is traditional. Yeah, it's whatever works for that category, that consumer, that need state. But if we look at real estate per se, yes, the classic communication model of just making it about the location, the views, the physicality of the structure,
Right.
The misuse or the abuse of words like luxury and lifestyle, right? I think those days are gone. The consumer has become extremely sharp, extremely smart, extremely aware, extremely demanding. And, as the category evolves and as brands start coming into the fore, I think it's about evolved benefits, right? So, it was always about functional benefits. We're now slowly moving to emotional and value-added benefits. The other reality is, as human beings, we don't make a single rational decision. Every decision is an emotional decision.
Right.
We rationalize it, right? So it was a bit of an irony that here was one of the most emotional categories. I mean, a home is extremely close to a consumer, but it was being marketed extremely rationally. Yeah, and that is where really the gap was, which is now being closed slowly but surely. And I think, therefore, it is becoming a category like any other, where you need to understand consumers, you need to understand their needs, you need to understand what is it that they're looking for. And it's not just about pitching a feature. Yeah, it's about communicating the benefit and how it's going to impact their life. I think the reality is that they don't buy a home, right? They're buying the dream of what their life will be like when they move it.
Right.
And how do you bring that dream alive in the best possible manner so that they can actually see it? It was tough earlier, but it's very, very easy now with technology. And I think that's made a big, big difference. So I think from a approach point of view, it's the approaches that work for other categories have started working for real estate also, whether it be digital, social media, influencers, the works. It's no different from any other category.
So what's your take on this? You think those traditional strategies have gone obsolete, or we are still working around it when it comes to real estate marketing?
I don't think anything has gone obsolete. So if you look at the traditional way of real estate marketing has always been functional. It is still retained. But on top of functional, what has come in is, as you rightly said, an emotional attachment and emotional messaging in terms of the consumer needs and demands that has come in. The traditional way of marketing in real estate has been the offline media, so print, magazine, radio. Now in a marketing mix, those are still there, but what has changed is that their proportion or the ratio has gone slightly skewed less, whereas the money that is being put into new kinds of media like a digital, like an influencer and so on and so forth has gone big, which was very negligent at some point of time. Thirdly, the packaging of the product, that has always been like square foot, itna bhav hai and all. That's about it was real estate marketing traditionally. Now it is more about the lifestyle, the aspirational, the emotional connect, and the functional things like the kitna square foot hai, how much is the rate and all of that. That comes secondary once I select my particular brand and product. So I think nothing has gone obsolete, but it is a good mix that has come in. Only traditional or only functional advertising has been replaced by a mix of functional as well as emotional, in terms of the communication and in terms of product. Now, this might be a little, controversial, but yes, we used to, or marketers used to sell what developers were making. We have to sell whatever the product has already been designed. Now we are actually putting our ears to the consumers and we are actually starting to design what the market needs are. So basically we are now going in the 4 P's of marketing. We are now more focused on the P, the first P. If that is correct, then all the other P's will actually become very easy for a marketer. If the first P has gone wrong, then we might do any kind of advertising, any kind of money, but it will be very difficult to move that particular product.
So interesting you said that, because my next question is about an honest answer from you guys. I'm sure you are noticing a marketing missteps happening in this industry. So according to you, what are those mistakes which are still being done, which the industry should consider of removing it, and you make sure that you are not taking those marketing missteps?
I wouldn't say missteps or anything, but yes, there is a shift of understanding in terms of, there was a kind of thinking that only this works in real estate. मैंने जो बनाया है, South Bombay में only luxury will sell. So if I talk of, because we are sitting in Bombay, I will talk of Bombay itself because everybody can relate to it. So South Bombay has been traditionally the luxury market, but then over time we have seen what has happened in South Bombay. So product in itself has evolved. It's no longer only about luxury, big spaces, big ticket sizes, but then according to the demand, even in micro markets, the product itself has evolved. So that's one I shouldn't say misstep, but yes, a traditional way and a very rigid way of thinking that has changed. यही बनाना है, इस market में यही चलेगा. That is no longer the case. There is a market for different kinds of product. You just have to keep your ears open what the consumer wants. So that's number one. And secondly, I think in terms of promotion and all of that, previously digital used to be a supporting medium, and that was the clear way of thinking, that digital is just a supporting medium. We have to be present. Even if we are not present in digital, it's okay, because our consumers are out there. They are not tech savvy, they are not digital enough, because the traditional home buyers were somewhere 45, 50 kind of an age bracket, and that was the thinking. But now the average age of the buyers has come down. They are very much tech savvy, they are very much interested, and they are always on the mobile. They are across mediums. So that's where the shift has happened. So it's not a misstep that used to happen. Over time, I think something that was being ignored for a longer period of time that has come into the foray. That's my take on it.
What about you?
So as a category that's starting to become a branded category from a commodity, right? Fundamentally, brands are built of values and have a personality. Values is what we believe in, personality is how we behave. And both of these happen over a period of time and only with consistency, right? So if I want to see my brand being attributed certain values, being seen as in a certain personality, in a certain way, one has to consistently behave that way. So I think one of the big things that has to change, is changing, is consistency in what we need to deliver, consistency in what we need to say and deliver it, right? That has changed. I think in the past, it didn't matter what you said, right? Today, it's been challenged, it's been questioned. Consumers themselves, right? I think the second big thing to build on what I just said is that the consumers are challenging us. So we can't take them for granted, right? They have been taken for granted a lot in this category, but I think now we can't. Interestingly, this is the only product category in the world where a consumer takes a lifelong debt to own it. This is the only product category in the world where they pay for all the raw materials before even the manufacturing has started, right? That's the kind of commitment consumers are making. I think they've also realized this fact, and they're starting to demand their demand the service, demand what was promised to them, which is great. And I think the brands that consistently do it are the ones that will stand apart. And I think so I agree with that it's not about missteps, it's just about how it's evolved and where we are headed now.
But as one pointed out, that product has evolved, right? So let's talk about Mumbai real estate market, and correct me if I'm wrong. I feel product is same, but pricing has evolved. In Mumbai real estate, especially where the product up 1 BHK, 2 BHK के जो pricing देख रहे हैं in comparison in past, it's gone so huge in comparison to other cities that it's quite, I would say, a far-fetched dream for a youngster to invest in buying a property in Mumbai real estate. So do you think product has actually evolved, or the pricing has just gone too high when it comes to Mumbai market?
So it depends on how we define a product, right? So a soap is a soap, a car is a car, a phone is a phone. In that sense, fundamentally, a house is a house. Got 4 walls and all of that. But I think where it has evolved are in a few aspects. One is technology has helped the quality of construction improve. The quality of designing, the aesthetic has improved. The kinds of amenities that people get today. at Mahindra, we've been strong believers in something called climate responsive design. So we study the movement of the sun and the wind patterns before we design the product. So that there's natural ventilation, natural sunlight. So a lot of that enhances the quality of lifestyle, which is the quality of product ultimately for us. And I think finally, the coming to your point on pricing, if you compare the price of an average car, it was half a few years ago, so to speak. But at the same time, for the same price, you're getting a lot more, right? Power steering, power windows was top of the line where you paid the maximum. Today, you get that in every car. So I think that's really where the category will also evolve. It's already happening, right? A gym, a multi-purpose hall, an open lawn is practically par for course today, which wasn't the case 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago. So I think it's more about value rather than price itself. The value equation has improved in my mind, yeah.
Do you agree with this or you want to add?
Yeah, I agree with both the points that he pointed out. And one point, what he rightly said, that in Mahindra, I guess, is a climate controlled, design aesthetics that is being, looked into. Similarly, I think in all branded developers, there are one or two, key factors which actually come into the fore, which sets that particular brand apart from any other offering in the market. So since I come from Hiranandani, I can vouch that, the construction quality, no one can match the construction quality of Hiranandani, because we give a guarantee of 100 years to our buildings. In 100 years, nothing will happen to your building. That is the guarantee of Hiranandani. Secondly, in terms of leakage proof lifetime, there won't be any leakages. So, and there are, I think, 7-8 pointers like this, which actually sets a Hiranandani apart from any other building. Now, what has changed over the years is that we might be doing it, but we were never vocal about it. Now, the brands have started being vocal about it to create a niche space for the particular brand. So if I know that, I am buying say a Hiranandani, or if I am buying a Mahindra, then I will definitely get A, B, C, D, E. That means with a branded developer, you can always be rest assured of the quality, of the commitment, of delivery, and all of that. So I think that has actually been the highlight in the last, I think, 7-8 years post-RERA. Because post-RERA, if you see that the branded developers have actually taken the game, I think not a few notches higher, but many notches higher. Whereas one who were, just being, developing buildings, many of them have gone out of business, because consumers, as he rightly said, have become very, very, sharp, have become very, very clever in understanding all of this.